have Yeah, I've been so excited to speak with you. I have so many questions as a woman in politics. You inspire me so much, so much. And I know that you've been serving as Prime Minister from 2017 to 2024. One question I would like to ask you is how do you inspire other people? Like, I believe your country has a lot of gender equality. I've read that it's among the top countries rated by Economic Global to have, the equality, the gender equality. So, how do you motivate your people to be so, equal?
Well, I think it's only fair to say that the reason that Iceland has been on top of the list when it comes to gender equality from the World Economic Forum, I think for over a decade now, is the
Yeah.
fact that we have a very strong women's movement in Iceland. And that movement has actually fought for structural changes like shared parental leave, which is a very important factor, I think, when working on and building up gender equality. A very strong early education system also, so that for Icelandic women, it is actually possible to have a career, but also to have a family, and they can expect that their partners will share the upbringing of the children. And I think this is probably the most important factor. But it also matters to have women in politics, not just as role models, but also to take and make decisions, because it's my firm belief that you get better decisions when both men and women are at the table.
So, how do you like countries like mine, India and Canada? Canada has a lot of women in politics too, but when you see India, there are not a lot of women who are in politics. So, what do you think your country does different than our country that people are more motivated to go into politics?
Well, I think one thing, we have seen women from very different political parties in Iceland. Often they unite around a cause. So you see women from the right and women from the left and women from the center actually uniting. So we have a very broad participation when it comes to the fight for gender equality and for women's rights. We have seen that most of the political parties in Iceland have some sort of some have rules, others have goals to have an equal participation of men and women when they are running for parliament or local councils. And I think that is very important. And we have seen that that delivers results, for example, in the Icelandic parliament.
Of course. And I have another question for you. So, Iceland as a country has been facing labor shortages in technology as well as science and other fields, labor shortages. So, I've seen that you guys have kind of evolved and opened up space for your immigrants, and you've eased down on policies, the immigration policies of your country. So, do you further would like to invite more people from around the world like Canada does?
Well, what we have been doing is trying to make it, of course, Iceland has a very high percentage of immigrants in our population, almost 20%. But what we have been trying to do lately is to make it more easy for experts to come and work, because we have been focusing more on the innovation sector, more on research and development. So we are trying to strengthen really the collaboration and the possibilities for international collaboration in that sector. And I think, of course, just as we are speaking here together, academia, research, innovation, these are international sectors in nature.
Yeah. And so, do you also plan to get more international students and get your universities to teach more subjects in English?
Well, you need to have a balance, because Iceland is a very small country with our own language, Icelandic language,
Of course.
spoken by the people here. So we need to we need to be ambitious because we want to be able to speak about everything in the Icelandic language. But we also have some international courses in most of the Icelandic universities. So it's a balancing act.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. And in your UN address, you spoke about the intersection of climate change and social justice. It was in one of your speeches. How is Iceland ensuring that its climate policies are inclusive and consider the need of marginalized groups?
Well, when I was leading government, we actually put forward the first fully funded climate action plan. And we also introduced the idea of a just transition. And I don't think that, just transition doesn't only apply to the climate crisis, but also to what the changes that we are seeing happening so rapidly when it comes to new technologies, AI, etc. We need to be very focused that everything we do is inclusive. And I think being in Iceland, we are one of the countries in the world where we have the highest income equality. We have a tradition of equality here, and we've been focusing very much on well-being and social progress in the last few years. So I think we need to always bear in mind the social dimension when we are dealing with the climate change or new technologies or all other